Sir, can we ask how you feel about the latest news regarding President Trump and the economy?
Sure, go ahead. I've got plenty to say.
Thought he cared about folks like us, retirees, people who worked their lives, but now look around, prices keep climbing, our savings shrinking.
So you feel let down? Completely. He promised stability, but all I see is chaos. When groceries double and meds cost more than our pension, you start wondering who's really on our side. He can shout fake news the truth out here. Seniors are tired of being ignored. We're done. Thank you for your honesty. Honesty's all we've got left.
In a shocking political twist that has sent shockwaves through Washington and Wall Street, President Donald Trump reportedly went into a fiery meltdown after discovering that senior citizens, long considered his most loyal and dependable voter base, are suddenly turning against him. According to several insiders with direct knowledge of the situation, Trump was completely blindsided by a new wave of internal polling data that revealed a dramatic decline in his approval ratings among older voters, a demographic that once stood as the bedrock of his political empire. He went absolutely nuts, one campaign aide revealed, still shaken by the outburst. He couldn't believe seniors were abandoning him after everything he said he's done for them. The aide added that Trump viewed seniors as his people, those who understood his values, his personality, and his blunt leadership style. To see them slipping away has reportedly triggered panic and anger within the highest ranks of his administration. The backlash from the elderly population appears to be driven by a growing wave of frustration over rising inflation, surging healthcare costs, and shrinking retirement savings. For many retirees, the past 2 years have been defined by economic uncertainty, with grocery prices and utility bills climbing faster than Social Security checks can keep up. "I voted for Trump twice, but my wallet can't take it anymore," said one retiree from Florida in an interview with a local news outlet. "Everything's more expensive, and I'm tired of hearing excuses." This sentiment is reportedly spreading rapidly through retirement communities and senior advocacy networks, where discussions about financial survival are replacing the partisan loyalty that once dominated. Political analysts are warning that this shift could be catastrophic for the president, signaling deep cracks in his once solid political foundation. Seniors have long been one of the most consistent voting blocs in American elections, and losing their confidence could have dire consequences for any incumbent president. "It's not just about losing votes, it's about losing credibility," said Dr. Elaine Monroe, a political economist and pollster. When seniors, who represent stability and reliability, start questioning the administration's economic management, it sends a chilling message across the political spectrum. Reports from inside the White House paint a picture of growing tension and disbelief. Several aides claim that the president's outburst over the polling data was caught on camera during a closed-door meeting, where he allegedly shouted at senior advisors and accused the media of manufacturing lies to undermine his support. "He was furious, loud, and defiant," one staff member said. "He slammed the table, demanded names, and accused his own team of feeding him bad information. He said, 'They owe me everything. I gave them jobs, safety, dignity, and this is how they repay me.'" According to multiple sources, the confrontation lasted nearly 40 minutes before advisors convinced him to calm down and refocus on messaging. Meanwhile, the financial markets reacted instantly to the chaos leaking out of Washington. Within hours of the story breaking, the Dow Jones saw a noticeable dip as investors braced for increased political turbulence. Gold prices, often seen as a refuge during uncertainty, climbed sharply as traders anticipated instability in the months ahead. Economic experts warn that a loss of confidence among seniors, who collectively control trillions of dollars in retirement assets, could further dampen consumer spending and add pressure to already fragile market conditions. "This isn't just about politics anymore," Dr. Monroe cautioned. "It's about the ripple effect of fear. When older Americans stop spending, the whole economy feels it." Inside the administration, the atmosphere has reportedly turned defensive, with Trump's inner circle scrambling to contain the fallout and reshape public perception. Advisors are said to be preparing a new communication strategy aimed specifically at older voters, emphasizing healthcare security, pension protection, and patriotic messaging. However, internal divisions persist. Some aides are pushing for an aggressive counterattack against what they describe as media manipulation, while others argue for a softer, empathetic approach that acknowledges senior struggles and offers practical solutions. A senior official familiar with the discussion said, "The president doesn't like admitting weakness, but if he doesn't show some empathy soon, it could cost him more than just poll numbers, it could cost him the election." The growing anxiety is not limited to the political sphere. Across the country, talk shows, podcasts, and social media platforms have erupted with debates over the apparent fracture between Trump and his elderly supporters. Hashtags like #SeniorsForChange and #RetireTrump have begun trending, fueled by viral videos of retirees expressing disappointment with the president's leadership. One widely shared clip from Arizona features an elderly woman saying, "I believed he cared about people like me, but now all I see is chaos. I can't afford groceries, and I'm not sure anyone in Washington even notices." The clip has been viewed over 10 million times in just 2 days, signaling a potential media storm that could intensify as election season heats up. The president's team has attempted to downplay the reports, calling them fake news designed to distort public perception. In a brief statement released late last night, the White House claimed the internal polling data had been misinterpreted and that Trump continues to enjoy strong and unwavering support among seniors nationwide. Yet, sources close to the campaign say the panic is real, and the president's fiery reaction reflects genuine fear that his political dominance may be slipping for the first time in years. "He thrives on loyalty," said one longtime ally. "When he senses betrayal, especially from a group that once adored him, it cuts deep. That's what makes this moment so dangerous." In the days following the outburst, sources say President Trump has been obsessively monitoring media coverage and demanding daily updates on polling among senior voters. Aides describe a tense and unpredictable atmosphere inside the White House, where staff members tread carefully to avoid triggering the president's frustration. "Every morning starts the same," one insider confided. He asks, "What are the numbers today? Did they go up?" And if the answer isn't what he wants to hear, everyone knows it's going to be a rough day. Reports indicate that several senior advisors have quietly reached out to conservative media outlets, urging them to highlight stories of seniors who still support Trump in an effort to counterbalance the negative narrative spreading online. Behind the scenes, campaign strategists are working around the clock to regain control of the messaging. The new plan, dubbed Silver Shield, focuses on restoring confidence among retirees by spotlighting Trump's economic policies, Medicare protection efforts, and promises to reduce prescription drug costs. Televised town halls are being scheduled in key swing states like Florida, Arizona, and Pennsylvania, regions with dense retiree populations. "We're not giving up on seniors," one strategist said. "They're worried, yes, but they're also patriotic and proud. We just need to remind them what Trump stands for." Still, internal data suggests that once trust begins to erode among older voters, it's difficult to rebuild. Many analysts argue that the administration's combative tone and relentless media feuds have alienated voters who value stability and reassurance over confrontation. Meanwhile, the opposition has seized on the moment, framing the loss of senior support as evidence that Trump's leadership is failing. Democratic leaders have launched targeted ad campaigns portraying the president as out of touch with retirees, featuring testimonials from seniors struggling with medical bills and housing costs. The ads, some of which have gone viral, depict Trump as self-absorbed and unconcerned with everyday struggles. "He promised to protect us," one narrator says in a somber tone. "But all we got were broken promises and higher prices." Political observers believe this messaging could prove devastating if the administration cannot quickly reverse the narrative. Economists are increasingly voicing concern that the political instability surrounding the senior vote could exacerbate the nation's economic fragility. With retirees representing a major portion of consumer spending, even a slight drop in confidence can ripple through sectors like housing, travel, and healthcare. If seniors tighten their wallets, you'll see it reflected everywhere, from restaurants to real estate, warned Dr. Monroe. That's why this crisis goes beyond politics. It's about economic trust. Some analysts even suggest that if the downward trend in senior support continues, it could contribute to a broader market downturn as uncertainty drives investors towards safer assets like gold and foreign currencies. Inside the Republican Party, unease is growing. Prominent lawmakers and donors are privately voicing concern that Trump's increasingly erratic behavior could jeopardize the entire party's chances in the upcoming election. One longtime Republican strategist said, "He's always been fiery, but this is different. He's fixated on loyalty to the point of paranoia. Instead of focusing on solutions, he's lashing out." Others, however, remain fiercely loyal, insisting that the president's passion is what sets him apart. "He's fighting for the people who built this country," one supporter declared during a recent rally. "The media can lie all they want, but we know the truth. He hasn't given up on us." As the weeks go on, Trump has reportedly become more defiant, doubling down on his belief that the polls are rigged and the backlash manufactured. In a series of fiery speeches, he accused political rivals and global elites of orchestrating a coordinated attack to undermine his credibility with seniors. "They want you scared, they want you broke, and they want you dependent," he thundered during a rally in Florida. "But I'm the only one standing between you and total collapse." The crowd erupted in applause, yet behind the bravado, advisors say the president remains deeply concerned about the damage to his image. Some have urged him to soften his tone and address seniors' economic fears with empathy. But Trump has shown little interest in changing course. Pollsters continue to release troubling data showing that the decline in senior support is not isolated to one region. It's spreading nationwide. Retirement communities once filled with Trump banners now display divided opinions, with some residents expressing regret and others fiercely defending their choice. In Ohio, a recent town hall grew heated when a group of seniors confronted a local representative, demanding action on rising drug prices and social security concerns. "We are tired of being told everything's fine," one man said. "We are not fine, and we're not stupid." As the election looms closer, both parties are gearing up for a fierce battle over the senior vote, recognizing it as a decisive factor that could shape the outcome. Trump's allies are betting that his charisma, populist appeal, and relentless campaigning will win back disillusioned supporters. Critics, however, argue that the damage may already be done. "This isn't just about polling numbers, it's about emotional trust," Dr. Monroe observed in a televised interview. "Once that's broken, it rarely returns." In the midst of uncertainty, the mood across the nation feels tense and divided. Supporters rally behind Trump's defiance, while detractors see his behavior as evidence of a leader unraveling under pressure. Whether this storm becomes the beginning of Trump's downfall or the latest in a series of political comebacks remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the loyalty of America's seniors, once considered unshakable, now hangs in the balance, and with it, the future of the Trump presidency itself.